good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to episode number 4 of the Freight Be Moving All Things Logistics podcast. And I am Jewel Williams, the host, producer, maker, and shaker, and all things above. I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope you started off your Monday great. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. It is November 1st. We are in the last 2 months of 2022. We are in the last 2 months. It has been an amazing year, and I just cannot believe it is November 1st. OMG. OMG. So many things have happened this year. So today on the show, like I promised, we are going to talk about Project 44. What it is, who owns it, who invented it, is it worth it, do you need to care about it, is it going to threaten your company, your business, your service, the services that you provide, all of the things above. We are going to talk about those things today. And I hope to shed some light and help you realize that the landscape is going to change. Change is a natural phenomena. I look all around you. Every single day, something is changing, whether it be the leaves, the weather, the road construction, the store inventory, whatever the case may be, something is changing. So we'll continue the conversation today with Technology Week as I am discussing, I shouldn't have drank water before I started, all things in the transportation field. So let's talk about Project 44. What is this Project 44? It doesn't even sound like a transportation and logistics program. It sounds like, I don't know, you're building a building or something. And why such an ambiguous name? Why didn't you just come out with the project logistics and all things above? I don't know. So anyway, the Project 44 is introducing software into the landscape of supply chain to help shippers. Shippers, when I say shippers, I am talking about your manufacturers, your retailers, your wholesalers, your distributors. All of those people ship something. Your raw material providers, they all are shipping something. And that is who Project 44 has designed that program to benefit. And the people that help that service transpire, moving it from the ports, moving it from the warehouse, moving it to the store, all those individuals in there are encompassed into this platform. And they have figured out how to use APIs, which we talked about yesterday. If you missed that episode, I definitely encourage you to go back and check out episode 4. It's episode 4 titled API and EDI or EDI API technologies, all things logistics. And so the founder of Project 44 is Jet McCandle. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Jet McCandle is the founder. And so I watched several things. And then I just wrote my own article based on what I had seen, information I know. So I want to read that to you, and then I will highlight some other things that I saw that I found on their website or I found on the internet. So, Project 44 offers stakeholders in the supply chain the opportunity to see and show information. Whether you are shipping from Europe, Asia, or the United States, visibility of the freight is available through the platform. The traditional ways of shipping freight are quickly becoming obsolete, creating advantages for some companies and disadvantages for others, such as the middleman. Their services are not needed to make a phone call, email, voicemail, faxes, texting are great for communicating a quick message, yet more is needed to give the customer data to make a decision. Project 44 offers multi-dimensional visibility and provides data enabling shippers, manufacturers, retailers, wholesalers, distributors to understand where the freight is and connect with supply chain to make alternative action steps. Some of the frustrations customers report to the Project 44 interviewer include fragmented communication, delayed communication. Holding on to critical information prevents the ability to make strategic decisions for procurement and production. Transportation costs, detention fees, demurrage fees, insurance from damaged freight, and much more are associated with shipping. The big question is, why does all this matter? Inventory costs money and is usually borrowed money. Therefore, when the interest rate goes up, so does the inventory cost. Freight rates are not just one of the items added to the cost of goods. So, for example, when I worked in the international shipping for a freight forwarder, I would see the invoices for the goods coming from Asia. The cost associated with a button-up top, that's why I wore this today. If you're listening to this, I wore a pink button-up top collared shirt, women's, to illustrate my point. So the cost associated with a button-up women's shirt contained some of the following expenses: the material, the thread, buttons, the fabrication, boxes to ship the goods, loading costs from the dock, loading costs onto the ship, insurance costs, more labor cost, in addition to duties and taxes from native country that is exporting the goods and importing country such as U.S. Customs duties. There are port fees, drayage fees, fuel surcharges, additional labor costs from the warehouse, delivery cost to the final customer. And that is not all inclusive. That is just some of the costs that are incorporated to the final cost that the consumer has to pay when they purchase the item. These costs are absorbed by the shipper. However, they are passed to the customer as they are built into the cost of the goods. So Jet Michaels is the founder of Project 44. His vision is to connect all organizations associated with the supply chain to give them visibility. The smaller suppliers, shippers, and service providers offering outdated tools with no valuable data will struggle to survive in the shipping industry. Customers want to know how long the cargo is at the port. In addition, what will be the cost of delay and demurrage, and be able to alert their customer so they can plan appropriately. How can 3PLs and freight brokers position their services and company as an asset and value to shippers? Get in the know of finding information, reporting timely, and being proactive. The days of being reactive to transportation and logistics problems is coming to an end. Shippers are over it. It is costing the economy too much money. They've recognized this and they want it to end. So the lackadaisical attitude that it's not your problem, and it won't be if customers figure out how to bypass you and push you out of the system. That is what they're going to do. It is more than finding reliable carriers, because Project 44 system can help with that task. It is more than tracking freight from the port, because Project 44 can do that task as well. The new game is data to enable strategic planning, minimizing loss, decreasing inventory cost, and improving profit margins. That is where we're at. So that was what I wrote up after watching and listening and absorbing all of the information. I'm going to post this. I've started to carve out a new blog on my website, www.freight, FREIGHT, just the letter B, MOVIN, drop the G.com, freightbemoving.com, just like you see it on all of my content. So I wrote that because I needed to sum up in one article what is happening and how Project 44 has they're already here. They're not coming. They're not on the way. They're not down the road. They're not, maybe I'm going to get there. They're here. Unilever's using Project 44. And I say Unilever because Unilever is a gargantuan type of company. Unilever takes care of your soaps, your dish detergents, and a lot of other products. And so what that means for Unilever is they need to have visibility throughout their supply chain, throughout all of their departments, because their customers, your grocery stores primarily, are waiting for that product to get to the shelf so that they can offer it to the customer. Many times the retailer creates sales with the anticipation of product being on the shelf. And if you're not familiar, I used to work in a grocery store, and I used to also work as a retail convenience store manager. And one of the things that was always important is every month, at the beginning of every month, we had what we called our marketing materials that would be sent to us. And the first of the month, like today, they had to be up. So we didn't put them up that morning. We put them up that following evening, usually after 5 o'clock. And a lot of times the customers would come in and they would say, hey, you got that on for sale. And we would have to give them that item at that price because we were now offering it. And you make do. However, when there were times when we would have something that was advertised, if that item is not in the store, people can claim false advertisement, and it is a real thing. The rule is you only have to have one. That's the rule. You only have to have one of those items that you said is for sale. So a lot of times what stores like your Walmarts and your Targets will do is if they order, say, a dozen, and there's 12 stores within that district, then each store will get one, and therefore they have fulfilled the obligation of the commercial, and hopefully you are in the door and you got that one. And what makes this more challenging now is because we have online selling. So you have people who are buying online and they're digging into, or they're requesting items from the same inventory pile that the in-store person is requesting. Now, some companies like Walmart, I know that they allocate some for the web and some for the store, but some companies don't do that. And so then you have the situation where you've double sold something, or you just don't have enough inventory and you have to go back into the system and say that item is not available. And of course, nobody likes to do that because then that changes the way your relationship is with your customer. So some of the things that I saw on the Project 44 is visibility all the way from China. And that is a new element. As I spoke about yesterday, I had put together this same concept in a PowerPoint in 2004. In 2004. And this was all just beginning. And at that time, XML and EDI were the two dominant players in this space. Now API has risen to dominate this space. And that's a good thing, because now, from what I understand with API, it can integrate all of that, making it more seamless. And that is where we are today. So getting back to my previous story, when this all began, we didn't have the internet. So now that the internet has come into play, the shipper has to be more eyes on the prize, because they have to be ready to tell the web seller, you won't have enough inventory, so don't go marketing that. Your influencers are all a part of the supply chain as well. Your social media marketing is a part of that supply chain because it is helping move that inventory. So we are not in a bubble. Your service that you provide to a customer, whether you're a truck driver, a freight broker, a freight agent, a dispatcher, a supplier, logistics, whatever, if you touch a piece of freight, you're part of the supply chain. So it's just inevitable that you're going to be either on this side with software and technology, or on this side in the antiquated world, and you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. So a couple things to wrap your head around, and a couple things to kind of get your mind into place is, how do you position yourself? How do you get into this position to where you present that value? If you have customers right now, you need to identify if they're even considering these types of tools. And you need to listen to those customers. Are those customers complaining? Have they displayed frustration? Have they said to you, hey, my boss is asking me for this information and I really don't have time to email you, so I need you to be more proactive about giving me this information? Are they avoiding your phone calls because a new system is coming on board and you're going to become obsolete? They owe you no explanation. Yes, it's common courtesy. Yes, it would be nice, but that warm, fuzzy feeling is not necessary. It's a courtesy. And most shippers, they don't care. Or do you even know what's happening? What if the person that you're normally connected to gets promoted, and the person that comes in, they have no idea you are a key person that is handling tracking and tracing or getting them the rates? Because right now, the tools that I saw on the Project44 is the ability to go in and get that information without having to pick up the phone. And that is what people are looking for. Self-service, get the information, and I don't have to pick up the phone. And I can go in and do and be what I want to be. So you got to be listening to them. Pay attention to their websites. Pay attention to their advertisements that they're putting out. Be a part of your organization. Companies like Unilever are so huge. They have all these different departments, but they all want to sing on the same stage. Nobody wants to be singing on the outside. They want to be in the warm building singing on the inside. So therefore, they're going to jump on board with a Project44 so that they can be a part of the choir and not sitting outside panhandling, hoping that somebody will drop a couple of coins in the box of information. They don't want that. Don't be the panhandler. Don't be that. Be the proactive. Get your business in order to be ready for this situation to happen. Be a value to your customer. That's the message of all of this, being the value. Technology is changing, and you're going to have to change with it. So I think I have rambled on enough today, and I have gotten you to understand the importance of what Project44 is. If you want more information about Project44, just Google it, project44.com. It's just that easy. Couldn't get any simpler than that. And I just read about it, watch a couple of videos. I think they might have a good blog that you can just absorb some of the content and be aware what is coming down the pipeline. And if you're teaching courses, I'm throwing this one out there, because I've got some courses coming down the line. For those of you who are interested, I am putting together some courses to help people who are in this industry do more. But if you're teaching courses, it's time to reevaluate what you're teaching the people taking your courses. Get them into the understanding that technology is a part of the reality, and it's more than just going onto a load board and finding out how many loads are up there. It's more than just signing up to truckstop.com. It's more than just signing up to dat.com. Those guys are getting information from brokers, not shippers. And if the shipper is not using a broker and they're feeding that information to a Project44, then the information that Truckstop and DAT, FreightWaves, whoever is using will shift. It will not be data of value because it is going off of something that is no longer relevant to the supply chain in real time. The information will be outdated and the customer will already be moving to the next level. All right, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this information. Like, subscribe, share it, leave a comment. If there's something you're interested in finding out about, hey, let me know. I love doing research. I love doing reporting. It's a communications background thing. It is what it is. All right, guys. Peace and love. See ya.